Chairman, so I will yield back. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you very much, Mr. Bevin. Mr. Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Mr. Munoz, you've apologized and made compensation for Dr. Dow. I appreciate that. It was awful to watch that. It reminded me of a Trump campaign rally. People shouldn't be treated that way. But the problem we've got is overbooking of airlines. And the reason we had the overbooking and having to take that man off the plane, or have somebody come off the plane, is because the airlines are beyond the realm in getting profits, higher salaries for executives, and less for customers. Part of that can be seen in the size of the seats that you have for the customers. Now, American and Delta are a tiny bit better than United on pitch. Spirit's the worst. I think Sky Blue is good, but probably Alaska's okay. It's been shown that passengers can get problems with their veins and thrombosis from long flights when they're so close together. Seats have gotten smaller, pitch has gotten less. Safety is a factor as well as comfort. Mr. Munoz, can you tell me what United has done, if anything, to try to have seats, size, and pitch that is safe for an evacuation of an airplane if an emergency should occur, which I believe is supposed to be 3 minutes to get everybody off?
If I could, Scott is our seat expert and has been doing this for quite some time. If I could yield to him.
If you could briefly give me the answer.
Yes, sir. Safety is our #1 priority, as is at all the competing airlines here today. And we test all of our aircraft for evacuation in the case of emergency, and that's done under the guise of the FAA. And so all of our aircraft, not just at United Airlines, but at every airline in the country is...
And can you get everybody off in 3 minutes?
Yes, sir.
And has the diminution in pitch and width not made it more difficult?
Sir, we still meet those standards, and...
Do you have a film of that which my staff and I can view?
We actually do have films of that.
Great. If you would let Mr. Fulton know, I'd love to see it because I find it hard to fathom with those seats, particularly Ms. Filipovich. Americans become the #1 carrier in Memphis. We thank you for filling the void that Delta left after Mr. Anderson testified before this committee that Cincinnati and Memphis would not be hurt. There would still be hubs and there wouldn't be any changes with the merger. So Americans come in and filled up that. But yesterday I flew on Air Wisconsin, and that's the worst seat I've ever had in my life. I've been there before. I refused it. I made a mistake. I'm going to start coming earlier and getting the Embraer, which is a good plane. The Air Wisconsin planes are, buses with propellers. Why do you use Air Wisconsin and put passengers in those teeny, tiny, awful seats with probably the worst pitch, worse than Spirit, and the worst width? Why do you use those?
Well, first of all, thank you for your business in Memphis. We're glad to be able to welcome you on board. We work with regional partners to allow us to have different size aircraft so we can serve small and medium-sized communities across the country, and we're really proud to do that. We know that we need to work to standardize the products and services because when a passenger buys a ticket on American Airlines, they expect American Airlines level of service.
That's what I expected. I thought I was going to get an Embraer, and instead I got on, Air 1941. It was like a civil rights bus from the 60s that had been preserved and had propellers put on it.
Well, I apologize that you had an uncomfortable flight, and please know that we're working to improve and standardize the experience that our customers have, regardless of who operates the flight when they buy an American ticket.
Thank you. Mr. McGee, do you believe that the pitch and the width have hurt customer safety as well as maybe imperiled diminished comfort?
Yes, absolutely. It's not just a comfort and value issue. It's a safety issue in terms of evacuation. It's a health issue, as you noted, in terms of DVT. Consumers Union has researched this and advocated about it and written about it. And we found when we reached out to the Federal Aviation Administration that there are unanswered questions when the FAA conducts its evacuation drills, that they're outdated in many cases. A, because they don't reflect real-world load factors, which now are often at 100%. They're at less than 100%. B, they're often with employees and things like that, so they're people that know how to evacuate a plane. And the third reason is that they often don't reflect accurate real-world seat pitch, as you've pointed out. So there are unanswered questions there about the most primary issue of all, which is safety.
Thank you, sir. My time's expired, but to the airlines, think Memphis. We need more flights.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smucker.